Welcome back. A wave of terrorist attacks in Kenya is not just affecting the country's reputation as a business destination, it's also savaging the country's critical tourism sector. Kenya's president, no less, has expressed his concern. He says a sector that accounts for 10% of the country's gross domestic product is quite literally on its knees. Now, the industry is barely recovering after tourist arrivals in the first 5 months of 2013 dropped by 15% compared to the previous year. As visitors stayed away, they were worried by a combination of things, key among them, especially in the first quarter, the general elections in March. By 7% to about from 925,000 people to 860,000, and most of that is attributable to insecurity. President Kenyatta has ordered police to stop taking bribes from suspects arrested on suspicion of being linked to the attacks. Let's get you some real-time analysis on what's going on in the sector. Minaz Manji is the managing director of Twiga Tours. He joins me now live in studio. Mr. Manji, thank you very much for your time this evening. Not since December, every single month has had an attack month after month. Give us a sense of what effect this has had on the sector as a whole.
Well, firstly, terrorism is not unique to Kenya. It's a global problem. However, having said that, any visitor or a traveler who feels their safety and security is threatened will obviously not choose that particular destination. So we are presently facing a major challenge, and therefore travelers are cautious about traveling to Kenya. As a result, we are seeing a drop in number, but I think that the Kenyan tourism industry is a very resilient industry, and I think that more aggressive marketing abroad and assuring people, the travelers, will help us pull up our industry again.
Indeed, but we can't keep assuring our visitors of their security forever, can we? In your opinion, is the government response adequate? Are there loopholes that they need to fix in their response?
Well, the thing is that the government cannot fight this battle on their own. Obviously, it needs the goodwill of people around the world. Now, when you know, these kind of acts are given some sort of hyped up very heavily and promoted internationally, then obviously people begin to worry. But at the same time, I think that the government is trying to do what it can under the circumstances. It's commendable that they have taken this bull by the horns, but at the same time, I think the government needs to do a lot more. It needs to also improve its PR image abroad. It's important that they go out as a person rather than issuing a statement here and there. It's important to go out and be able to tell the people that Kenya is still safe. If you look at this, there has been no tourist facility that has been targeted. So purely this is a local problem, confined to the local Kenyan people. And as sad as it is, I must point out that if the tourist facilities are not affected, then visitors to Kenya shouldn't worry so much that they are not safe.
Indeed. The president, of course, just 4 days ago described the industry as being, quote, on its knees. Now, you've said here earlier that it's resilient. Do you agree with the president's assessment?
I think that the president and his family, who have extensive business interests, including in tourism, and the fact that the president was at one time the chairman of the Kenya Tourist Board, understands tourism fairly well. And I think that by making that statement, I think what he was trying to put across was that he is concerned about the industry. He is and is willing to do what it takes to ensure that our tourist numbers are brought back or probably even more increased than previously. So I think that that statement in itself is not a literal statement. I think it's a show of solidarity with the tourism industry.
Indeed. Finally, Mr. Manji, we've been seeing reports that Kenya Airways has been turning away some passengers from East Africa who are using national identity cards instead of passports. As we do recall, there was a policy in place put together by the head of state to allow nationals of Uganda, Rwanda and Kenya to travel using the national identity cards. What effect has that had on regional tourism traffic?
I think first of all, I must point out that the only countries that had agreed and signed this protocol was Kenya, Uganda and Rwanda. And it only affects the nationals of these three countries. So as far as foreign tourists are concerned, it has no bearing on them. When we bring it more locally, regional tourism is still in its infancy. It is not a major player in the Kenyan tourism industry. So I would say that as much as it affects us in terms of numbers, it is not significant for now.
Indeed. Minaz Manji, Managing Director, Twiga Tours, thank you very much for your time this evening. Let's move on to